Welcome to Jason Sports on the Detroit Lions News podcast, and we're going to be talking about Jameson Williams right now because there was a rumor floated out last week about Jameson Williams, and it was just a speculation. It was a great article in terms of the way you're thinking about how you're going to run the team. And I actually did a poll earlier in the week. I said, okay, you get to sign 4 players. Who are you going to sign? The people said, we're going to sign Gibbs, we're going to sign Branch, we're going to sign Joseph, we're going to sign Laporta. So you got Kirby, Brian, BB, and Jameer Gibbs and Laporta. That's the main people wanted to sign. You can only sign 4 out of the 6. The players that were on the outside looking in, Jameson Williams and Jack Campbell. And while I do not agree with it, and while I don't think that that's going to happen, where they're going to trade Jameson Williams, let's think about what this could mean. There's several reasons why you would trade Jameson Williams, and it's not that he is, you know, it's not that he's not a good player. It's not that he's a bad player. It's about the money. If you believe there's 2 things that could happen, okay? Brad Holmes could hold on to him and go to the 5th year option and go through that. And then as he goes through that, knowing he's not going to be able to keep this guy. So you got roughly 2 years of Jameson Williams. Now, on the flip side, they did bring in Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas. There's several ways you could take this whole thing. You could trade Jameson Williams for a player or a draft pick and get more draft picks. Then you draft Matthew Golden. So basically, you tit for tat. You keep the window open. Jameson Williams goes somewhere. Even though Jameson Williams in the last year has really turned the corner, I wouldn't like to see it. But if you were asking me for a personal opinion on how this could go about, it's not about what I think of Jameson Williams as a person or a player. It's, can I sign Jameson Williams long term? And what Brad Holmes is banking on is the roster he's developed. The Lions roster ranks 3rd in best roster in the NFL per The Athletic. And if you look at his draft hit rate, it's 82.1%. He's had 6 Pro Bowlers, 6 All Pros. I think it's 13 All Pro Bowlers, but it's guys that he's drafted. These are guys that he's drafted. And the salary cap by year, you're going to pay you're going to have $42.3 million this year. Next year, you'll have $5.3 million, which I imagine is going to be opened up by some reconstruction of deals. You got Hutchinson, you got Kirby Joseph, you got Brian Branch, you got Jameer Gibbs, you got all these guys that are due contracts. And unfortunately, when you make some good moves in the draft wise, you're gonna have to pay them. And if you don't think you could pay them, but you're confident in your draft style, who's to say why you don't go and say, we're going to trade Jameson Williams and we're going to draft the next guy? I mean, if you're Brad Holmes, if you're a fan, you're not going to like it. If you're Brad Holmes, you know what you're doing. You've built the 3rd best roster in football per The Athletic. You've had 6 Pro Bowlers. You've had 6 All Pros. You've done a damn good job at drafting. And if you look at his draft overall, I mean, this is his draft in conjunction. He got 4 good players in 2023. You got 4 good players in 2022. You could make a case for maybe Malcolm Rodriguez being another good player, but I look at Kirby Joseph, JMO, Hutch, and Rodrigo, and then you look at the first year. You got Levi, Panay, Aleem, Fatu Melifonwu, Amon St. Brown, Derek Barnes. It's a home run draft. So Brad Holmes is going to have his opinion of what he thinks this team is going to be able to do. He's going to have his opinion on how he's going to build this roster. He's going to have his opinion on how he's going to navigate these contracts because of how he's drafted. And Albert Breer posted something on his article on Monday, and this is what it read. It says receivers are another spot to consider with a 5th year option decision coming on Jameson Williams. Some in NFL circles believing he could be traded. It's not far-fetched to say that he could be traded. It's far-fetched to say he is going to be traded. It's far-fetched. It's not far-fetched for someone to say, what is Brad Holmes going to do? Because when we look at Brad Holmes, he is an aggressive guy. He's not aggressive on acquiring a player that he knows that he can't sign. He's aggressive on on draft day. He's aggressive going after players that he knows can be difference makers. And look, when you look at his draft record, I mean, the Athletic had something today where the Detroit Lions were the number one draft team in the NFL over the last 5 years. And when you think of the last 5 years, one of those years was not Brad Holmes. So look, all you could say about Brad Holmes is that he does bring home the bacon. And if he decided tomorrow that he's going to trade Jameson Williams and he's going to go draft a guy like Matthew Golden, or he already has a guy in the pipeline, or he thinks he can go get one in free agency that's still available, or he can go do this or this, or what Brad Holmes decides to do is what Brad Holmes decides to do. There is nothing that you have seen from this guy that leads you to believe he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got a lot of contracts to navigate over the next couple of years. He's got a lot of salary cap implications to go over the next couple of years. I know there's a lot of Lions fans that are like, risk it, risk it, risk it, risk it. That's great. You want to risk it for the biscuit. But the reality of the situation is Brad Holmes' job is to build a sustainable product to win a Super Bowl. And you can't be an aggressive person maxing out your credit cards and thinking that you're going to retire by 50. It just doesn't happen. So what Brad Holmes is doing is working. What Brad Holmes is doing is going to work. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on draft day. Obviously, this could happen on day 1, day 2, or day 3. You never really know with the way that Brad Holmes has been able to draft over the last couple years. And for people saying he wouldn't go draft a wide receiver, let's go back to this quote about best player available. He said, "This is where I not get annoyed, but sometimes don't understand the whole need thing because with each season ends, it's going to be something else." Holmes said, "Another player contract is going to end. Another player's unfortunately might be coming off an injury. Like it's going to be something different every single offseason. So if you're trying to chase what happened last season, oh man, this guy's contract is coming up. You're trying to chase, oh, this guy's got an injury. You're just kind of getting into that cycle that I think is a little bit dangerous to get into. So that's why I've been more of a just get the best player." And he didn't far away from that. He's even said on wide receiver competition, he says, kind of like when we talk about corner, we really can't have enough of them. And obviously, receiver is similar, Holmes said. Now, the only thing about receivers that I felt like the receiver is probably one of the more voluminous positions in each of the draft. So there's probably more of those guys, even veteran free agents that are available after the draft as well. But yeah, I might just to add one, just continue to add youth. We're happy with the guys we have, very happy with the guys that we have, but obviously it'd be great to have one. So look, Brad Holmes is not going to give you the end all be all. And Brad Holmes is not going to tell you what you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to hear. And we can go back to the quote from Albert Breer about JMO, and there you go. Some in NFL circles that believe that he could be traded. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. But am I going to rule it out? No, because we know who the general manager is, Brad Holmes. He does continue to be aggressive, especially on draft day. So we shall see what Brad Holmes wants to do. But I can tell you this right now. Uh, I trust Brad Holmes and what he's been able to do. The proof is in the pudding. He's hit at an 82% draft clip where the players are still on the roster. So it just goes to show you this guy really does know how to draft, and he's going to do a damn good job. So we'll see you at the next episode of the Detroit Lions News podcast. Probably going to go out probably Wednesday night, right before the draft. We'll have one. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game for. This is going to be an interesting week for the Detroit Lions as we look forward to the draft week. This is always an interesting week for the Detroit Lions perspective, but we'll have you covered on here on the Detroit Lions News podcast and JC Sports YouTube page. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.